Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really powerful little business fable called The Go-Giver Influencer. And its core message? Well, it might just change how you think about negotiation forever.
And this question right here is really what the entire story is built around. We're going to follow two professionals who are locked in this super high-stakes deal. For them, it feels like everything is on the line.
All right, so let's jump right in and meet these two. You've got two people who are convinced that their entire future, everything they've worked for, hangs on the outcome of this one single negotiation.
So first up, we have Jackson Hill. He's the founder of this pet food company, Furry Angels. And this guy is all heart, right? He's a true believer in his product. We're talking the purest, freshest ingredients you can imagine. But here's the kicker. His passion project is literally on the brink of foreclosure.
And then you've got Jillian Walters. For her, the stakes are just as high and just as personal. This deal, it's not just another rung on the career ladder, it's her ticket to providing a better life for her daughter. So, bam, right from the start you see the classic conflict. Two good people with deeply personal motivations whose demands just seem completely, totally impossible to square.
And this chart just lays out the standoff perfectly. I mean, look at this. Jillian's company wants national exclusivity, but that would force Jackson to completely cut ties with all the small shops that helped build his business from the ground up. They also want him to scale up nationwide, but his whole brand, his whole identity is built on fresh, local ingredients. It's a complete and total impasse. They're at a dead end.
So, with the negotiation totally stalled, both Jackson and Gillian have this moment of realization. Their old ways of doing things, they're just not working. They've hit a wall. So they each go looking for some outside wisdom, and what's amazing is they don't even know they're about to be put on the exact same path.
You know, Jackson's father had always taught him this old-school aggressive playbook. You know the moves: faking shock to get a better price, threatening to walk away just to see if they'll crack. But these tactics, they just feel wrong to Jackson. And honestly, they're not getting him anywhere.
Gillian, on the other hand, she finds this mentor who's only known as the coach, and he just immediately turns her whole worldview upside down. He challenges this core belief she has that business is all about cutthroat competition, and he introduces this totally new way of thinking about what it means to win.
And at the very same time, Jackson meets the judge. She's this wise, retired jurist, and she teaches him that any fight you have with someone else, well, it's really just a reflection of a fight you're having inside yourself. For her, real negotiation starts with getting your own mind right first.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Without knowing anything about each other, their mentors guide them to the exact same 5 principles. The book calls it sincere influence, and it's basically a roadmap for turning a fight into a partnership. It starts with you, mastering your own emotions, and it ends with something pretty radical, just letting go.
So this first secret, this is the foundation for the entire new approach, and it's all about starting from the inside out.
Now, this isn't about being a robot or pretending you don't have feelings. Not at all. It's about saying, okay, emotions, you can come along for the ride, but you're in the passenger seat. Reason and calm have to have their hands on the steering wheel. Because the second that anger or fear starts driving, you are headed for a crash.
Okay, so once you've got that internal calm locked down, the whole perspective shifts outward. The next 3 secrets are all about making this huge psychological leap, from seeing a competitor to seeing a potential partner. It's about going from me to truly understanding we. And this is so much more than just nodding your head and waiting for your turn to talk. It's about being genuinely curious about the other person. What kind of pressures are they under? What are they secretly afraid of? What do they really stand to lose here?
The coach draws a really sharp line in the sand for Gillian right here. He says, look, manipulation is about tricking people into doing what you want, usually by playing on their fear. But sincere persuasion, that's about helping them get what they already want, by helping them overcome their own obstacles. One is all about you, the other is all about them.
These 2 secrets right here, they are the engine of connection. When you set the frame, you're literally changing the conversation from a battle to a brainstorming session. You're telling the other person's brain, hey, we're on the same team here. And then when you communicate with real empathy, you make it safe for them to be honest, to be vulnerable, to be creative. And that is how you build the trust you need for a real breakthrough.
And that brings us to the 5th and final secret. Now, this one is probably the most counterintuitive of them all, but I'm telling you, it is the absolute key that unlocks the entire breakthrough in the story.
Just think about that for a second. What if winning has nothing to do with being right? The book asks us to really consider this radical idea, and it challenges the very nature of how most of us approach any kind of conflict.
Think about it. The moment you dig your heels in and make it a battle of I'm right and you're wrong, you've already lost. You've slammed the door on any chance for a creative solution. And by letting go of that need to prove his point, Jackson completely changes the entire dynamic of the negotiation.
And here it is, the aha moment in action. When Jackson truly, authentically lets go, and I mean for real, not as some kind of tactic, it doesn't end the conversation. It's the opposite. Paradoxically, it creates the space for Gillian to stop fighting and start creating. She's the one who then comes up with this brilliant new solution that neither of them had even considered before.
So the result wasn't a compromise where both people have to give something up and walk away a little unhappy. No, it was something brand new. They found a single, unified path forward that was actually better for everyone than what either of them had originally wanted.
I love this final piece of wisdom from the judge. It just captures the heart of the book perfectly. It blends this really profound insight with such simple humanity. You know, true resolution, it isn't always about winning the argument. Sometimes it's just about connecting.
And that is such a powerful question to end on, isn't it? It really challenges us to think about how shifting our mindset from conflict to creation can fundamentally change the outcome, not just in a business deal, but in pretty much every part of our lives.